Appreciate it, LeBron.
Appreciate it, yep.
All right, LeBron James talking to Mike Trudell there. The big three guys, they really set the tone.
Yeah.
They came out, the stars shined. I thought AR was great in the first quarter. LeBron, a dominant first half. He had 20 of his 22 in the first half. And then, of course, Luka gets hot in the third. They scored 66 points. They had 20 assists between the three of them. But I do love what LeBron had to say there. And he was hot early, James, and they were feeding him 4 threes to start the game off.
Yeah, he broke another record, did he not?
He and Kobe are now the only two with 1,000 threes.
Yeah, I mean, look, focused. He was focused and ready and prepared. You know, yeah, the big three played well tonight, including LeBron. You know, they passed the ball really well, Gator, and I think that was the difference tonight. That's why they were able to get, you know, shots. And LeBron really, he's starting to get to that paint. You know, that long pass from Luka that he goes down and gets in the paint and takes advantage of that, posting up a little bit more, and he still can knock down the three. So it was a good collective effort. The big three got busy, but even in their effort, you know, they did well. The whole team, you know, kind of made a nice contribution.
Yeah, James, you and I were talking right here almost a week ago when the Lakers lost to Boston, right? And they had 18 assists as a team that night. That's way too low. Tonight they had 29, and it helps, Skeet, when you're making your threes. The Lakers kind of out-warriored the Warriors tonight.
19 threes.
Yeah, made 19 threes, outscored the Warriors by 21 from deep. When was the last time you could say that about a Lakers-Warriors matchup? Nice. So obviously no Steph Curry. That helps a little bit for the Lakers' cause, but really impressed by the overall ball movement, the flow. The offense hit a low point against Boston, under 90 points, only 89 that night. Much better today.
You know, LeBron mentioned this to Mike, and we were talking about before we came on air, Luke Kennard. And we spent a little time talking about him on the pregame show. And, you know, you bring him in to be a three-point shooter. And we've always talked about him not being a high-volume guy, but he does make the right basketball play. He's a little more of a playmaker than we thought. But only 1 3-point attempt in the last 2 games that they lost close games. And we were curious if maybe J.J. talked to him or he just had a feeling he was going to come out more aggressive tonight, James. At least that's what I thought. I mean, 16 points, 10 shots, 7 threes, made 4 of them. That was nice to see, 16 points from him off the bench.
Especially the 4 threes, Gator. That's what we really needed for when we're playing these teams that are just throwing in threes on us, and we need to kind of match it. He's our guy right now, I believe. But what makes him more of a threat is he moves without the basketball really well. So if someone is driving downhill, he's so smart of dropping to the level of the basketball where he's always in sight. He's never out of sight. And I saw one play where Vanderbilt drove into the lane, and his man turned his head for 1 second, and he didn't hesitate. Backdoor cut. He's extremely smart, and I just like to see him get up more volume. I'd rather see him get up more volume threes than twos. But he does a good job of, you know, fooling the defense, getting all his shots, threes, twos, and, you know, sometimes to the free throw line.
And it's funny, James, because it's not like the last few games he just disappeared off the face of the earth for the Lakers. He was doing great. You know, he was scoring 8 points, 9 points. It was all twos, though. He was shooting like 80% from 2, which is really, really weird, Geet. Tonight, though, he went back to what he is. He's a shooter, period. And not a huge volume shooter, but mark my words, guys, he will win this team a game or 2 between now and the end of the regular season. I mean, I think he's that big of a pickup for them. He gives them a huge need, a glaring need at three-point accuracy and three-point shooting, and just got to get that volume up. And he did tonight. And obviously,
nice to see.
Yeah, obviously we saw the positive consequences of such an outing.
Let's talk Luka. Happy 27th birthday to Luka Doncic, and he was just doing what he always does, but really efficient tonight. Again, 4 threes, and weren't you given a stat? B. Moore, we were talking about this, our producer. He's leading the league in points, 3rd in assists, and leading the league in three-pointers made. Tonight, just to say 26 points, 9 of 17, 4 of 9, 8 assists, 6 rebounds. But third quarter, when you have a lead, he came out and had 16 in that third, put it up 30, and he didn't even have to play in the fourth. That's what you love to see.
How does he fare in fantasy?
That's pretty good.
It's unbelievable. I wish I had him, James.
Yeah,
That's why I'm terrible in my 2 leagues.
The guy is a stat machine.
Yep.
You put a quarter in the machine, he'll give you whatever stat you want. Points, assists, you know, threes. Every now and then he'll give you some pretty good defense, believe it or not. But yeah, I mean, tonight he came out and led because the team needed a victory. And like to lead in those categories. That's not easy to do. But look, 8 assists. He's rebounding well, and he's a big threat. They don't know when he's going to shoot that three. They're right in front of him, but they don't know, and he just slowly just puts it right in your face. He's an amazing stat guy.
You know what my favorite stat is? With the game tomorrow against Sacramento, none of those guys played more than 29 minutes. All the starters got to chill in that fourth quarter. It's nice for the Lakers to have a blowout win. You know, they've been this great clutch team this season, almost unblemished record in clutch time down the stretch. No need to go to that tonight. Just put it away early. They did. The Stars got the rest, and they get to lace it up again here tomorrow night against the Kings.
All right, guys, let's hear from Coach J.J. Redick, brought to you by your Toyota dealers.
Unlocked the offense, and once the shots started falling and the rhythm that you guys got into, how did you see that sustain itself through the game?
He was just making the right play in front of us. I thought our starters really set the tone with that. And boy, like Luka Doncic he just starts the blender for us. You know, we frankly have not had like a ton of like blender starters. And obviously, you know, like Luka gets 2 on the ball, AR will get 2 on the ball, LeBron will get 2 on the ball, but just to be able to create a closeout and then make the right read and right play from there. I thought our guys were incredibly unselfish tonight. You know, but it started with that starting group, and then I thought, you know, Luke was huge for our offense tonight.
And you kind of hinted at that in the pregame. You said that, you know, after the All-Star break, it hasn't quite clicked for you yet, but you felt like it was going to come. And did you feel like you saw some of that tonight?
Yeah, again, it goes back to just, you know, finding that consistent level of playing the right way on both ends, doing what we're supposed to be doing, executing at a high level. You saw those trends. You know, we haven't had it for a sustained, like, full stretch of a game, really. It's come in spurts in all 4 of our games that we played prior to this. You know, it was definitely our most complete game post All-Star break.
JJ, when you guys were shooting above 50% from behind the arc and 19 threes, was that part of the blender, so to speak, or why was it so successful tonight?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it is. You know, it's just being able to just make the next pass, get to the next thing, touch the paint, pass it to the next guy. You know, we certainly made some threes. You know, LeBron made a couple ISO threes. Luka got hot to start the third quarter with some set plays, and then the ISO three, the second one in transition on the left wing. So it wasn't like all our threes were coming from that, but I just thought the ball was moving tonight.
Shot making is always going to help, but was there a consistency to the process tonight that allowed you to extend a 10-point lead to 20 to 30, whereas there's been a couple games in this stretch where you get a 10-point lead and then it...
Yeah. Again, that's what the consistency of like just playing the right way was great. I thought anytime we got a little disorganized, we were able to get back to just, you know, some go-to stuff to calm the group. You know, they made that little run in the second quarter. Once we had the bigger lead, we went horns chin, you know, twice in that quarter. Smart gets the 3 because they went under on the chin screen, and then AR gets downhill on the against Horford, you know, because we set a great screen to get Smart potentially a layup. Horford has to back all the way off. So again, it was just like we did a good job. The guys did a good job. Anytime, you know, we felt a little discombobulated of just getting back to neutral.
Getting back to Luke and him being, you know, creating that blender, is that even more valuable? Obviously, his shooting is valuable, but is it even more valuable because now, you know, Luka or Austin and LeBron can be the beneficiaries of that, if that makes sense? Yeah,
I think he's got like a really good we score mentality. You know, a